All right. Hey, everybody. Got Wayne and Mark here, and we are excited about our Friday session where we highlight our members. And today we've got a member, Beth Conrey, who has been one of our very earliest members. She was a founders member from about a year ago. And we actually did a recorded session with her, not that you guys have ever heard. This isn't an encore, as we call it. This is brand new. And Beth is a beekeeper, and she's been one for many years. It's her singular source of income. She lives in an urban setting, but has her hives spread out all over our region here. And she is a prominent person in the national beekeeping community. She's been active in national organizations and regional organizations. She's going to talk about something today that she has a huge passion for right now. I'm not going to steal her sort of surprise by telling you what it is, but you just can hang on and hear it as we have her speak. Again, because she's not with us live, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the question box, and we'll make sure that she gets them answered. Again, Beth is a very good friend, and she actually lives in the area also, so I see her regularly. So, Mark, if you want to go ahead and cue up the video.
Hi, Wayne Dorband here for the bi-weekly NTP Seed webinar huddle that we hold here at our Northern Colorado headquarters in Loveland, Colorado, both live here at our site and also going out over the web to those of you that are watching. Enjoy what we have for you today. Hi, Wayne Dorband here from Northern Colorado for the Economics in Action webinar. We come to you about every 2 weeks, every first and third Wednesday of the month, from wherever I am in the world or whoever our other host might be, and our amazing speakers that we get from all over the United States. So it turns out we actually have someone with us today who's probably less than a mile away from me as we bring her in, but she is a world-renowned speaker and involved in her topic on a worldwide level. So we're excited to have Beth Conrey with us here today, and she's going to talk to us about her passion, which is bees, and about a whole bunch of other things. Beth and I have become friends, and we've actually recently met and talked about a number of topics, and so I think that we'll probably go in as we interview and talk about those things. I believe next week, do we have Cheryl Cran, or 2 weeks from now? It's 2 weeks in the first week, the first Wednesday in April. We have Cheryl Cran. Cheryl was scheduled for a previous webinar for us, and she's going to be on then, and that's going to be exciting. And I'm going to recommend, please go back in and watch the replays of these. You can find them on our Nurse the Planet site. You can find them on replays that you might have had from the Webinar Jam platform that we use, and a variety of other things. And then secondly, please go in and put your questions that you have while Beth is speaking here into the chat area. And I always love to see who we've got in our chat area. I know we've got Mark out there. Mark's in Bangladesh, and Mark is a regular here for us. Mark is actually one of our staff and does some writing. And Mark, ask some questions today, buddy. And I see we've got Darren, and we've got several other folks. And so please, if you guys have got questions for Beth, throw them out there. We'll make sure we either address them when it's a good point during the interview here, or we'll catch them at the end. We try to stay pretty diligent to be about an hour, although if we go a little bit longer, I'm sure the audience won't mind. Usually it's because we're doing something really cool. Lastly, we will have a replay that will be available for this. We'll be editing it, and it'll come up tomorrow or the next day. And again, have fun. Ask questions. I think you're going to enjoy Beth. And so how are you doing, Beth? How's your day?
I'm doing well. It's going great. Thank you, Wayne.
Well, and I'm going to tell a little story. Beth is amazing for us today because somehow we'd had some communication, and she actually thought this was going to start an hour ago, and she was supposed to be on the road right now. And just before we started, I asked her a question about her schedule and whether she was on the road. Just repeat that again. Tell us what your schedule over the next several days.
Yes. Well, this is the price one pays for vacation last week. So
Okay.
I will hang up with you and head to Pueblo, then IA, and then I have a training in Fort Collins, and then another meeting in Broomfield, and then Friday I'm in Denver in the morning and Boulder in the afternoon, and then Saturday and Sunday I will be teaching at the Laramie Bee College in Cheyenne, Laramie County.
And is it really called that, the Laramie Bee College, or are you just using that in your description?
No, it's called the Wyoming Bee College, but it's put on by the Laramie County Master Gardeners, so it's in Cheyenne, not Laramie.
Okay. We're going to do something here because Beth and I were having a little discussion about this earlier. We like to give out little tips every now and then on our webinars. Would anybody in the audience put into the chat that you see a difference in resolution quality between my webcam and Beth's? And I won't give you a hint of which one might be better or worse, but just put a little note in chat. Mark actually put in nice color, and Mark also said nice shirt, Wayne. Yeah, it's fancy, right? Just put in there which of the two images. Deb's going to go back and forth between them, right, Deb? And you're going to have and see which of the two images looks better. We had this as a discussion about Apple versus PC, because as I'm looking at Beth's on my screen, this image is better, and I speculated it was because of the webcam I use, which is not the webcam on my computer. This is a little hint. We have a Logitech webcam that's a 1080p resolution that is portable. It's USB mounted. I think it's only about $100 in price, and it's amazing the quality difference between the one on mine and there. And I'm seeing if anybody's going to respond here on the chat, and then we're going to go get ahead and get started. Well, why don't you guys just respond, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Beth, I'm going to just ask you a few little personal questions. She was really reluctant to talk about the personal stuff, but we're going to do a little bit of that, and then we're going to let her move into bees. Just give us a little bit about your background, especially I think you put a little bit about your education here, a little bit personal life, and just whatever you want to say there, and we'll move from there.
Okay, so I was born in Illinois and moved all over the country and settled into Berthoud here 23 years ago when my older son was born. And I have been married for, I don't know, since 1981, however many years that is, to my husband, Mike. I have a Master of Business Administration from the University of New Mexico, which is where I met him at. And I worked in the food service business for many years, and then switched over to the bee business when the aforementioned older son hit middle school and needed to have a little bit of supervision.
And then tell us about your bee-related.
Aries. It's okay. Quite all right. B Squared Apiaries is a 60 hive, chemical-free beekeeping operation located here in Berthoud. We keep bees all the way east to I-25, all the way west to Parish Ranch, and all the way south down to the north end of Longmont. When we say we're chemical-free, that means that we do not use any harsh chemicals in the management of our hives. And then we, in addition to producing magnificent raw honey, also produce these beautiful beeswax candles and these wonderful soaps.
Yeah, and I think that we're showing some of those on the screen so people can see that. So when you say you have 60 hives, and you and I have talked bees a little, but I am by no means a bee expert. How are they distributed in that? So I'm going to tell folks a little bit more on that geography because I live right here. The distance between I-25 and Parish Ranch is 8 miles, maybe 10, in that range. And so there's obviously a spread there. So of those 60 hives, how are those distributed?
Most of them are in what we call 2-packs in people's backyards. And then we have several large yards, and they are located at my house, and then they are located at, the other one is at Wide Horizon Farms, which is a large orchard just behind the Walmart at 66 and 287.
So clearly a triangle there. So we're headed a little bit farther south as we get from Parish Ranch to the Walmart and then back towards the east. Okay.
Yeah, we have them on what we call routes. So one day we go east, Tuesday we go west, Wednesday we go south, Thursday we stay here, Friday we fix everything that needed to be done in the last 4 days that didn't get done.
And those are your routes, because the bees' routes, the bees go back and forth from a single hive. Is that correct, or are they moving around also? I'm assuming they're attached to a hive.
That is correct. They are attached to their mother.
To their mother,
and
right.
The queen bee has got a distinct pheromone that she emits, and they know which hive is theirs based upon that unique smell.
And Beth, I live in the canyon that enters, that hits the Little Thompson River about 1.5 miles west of Parish Ranch. And I've thought about putting hives in, and we're going to, but I've always worried that we just don't have enough flowering plants to probably support more than a hive or two. Let's say you expanded your operation towards where I'm at, and we had something there. Would that fit into your 60 and now becomes a 61 or 60, let's say 62 type hive system? Is that, or how does, I'm trying to understand that process just a little bit.
Right, and so we don't accept people who aren't on the routes. Okay, so in other words, if somebody makes a request for a hive, like right now I have a guy that really wants me to put hives east of the ranch in Larimer County, or I guess he's probably in Weld. I don't go there, and I can't maintain those insects there efficiently or effectively. So you represent more of a possibility since I'm already heading your way.
So you make those are business decisions for you.
Yes.
Based on, and then the viability of a set of hives would then be a judgment you'd make based on your observation of what the area pollination-wise looks like and whether it could support that pair of hives, I'm assuming.
Well, that's the theory, but we are always missing data, okay, because we have no idea who else is keeping bees in that area. So what we'll usually do is bet and keep an eye on them. And if there's adequate food, then they'll be happy and healthy. And if there's really adequate food, then I'll get some too.
Awesome. So background, master's in business administration. There's probably something there where maybe even in your childhood, something that caused you to develop this life path.
Yes, so I was always a buggy when I was a kid, and I collected bugs in 4-H, and I had a 4-H project, and that project won the Maryland State Fair, I don't know, some 40-something years ago, as well as the New Mexico State Fair. And then I grew out of bugs, and then I grew back into them.
So did your family move from Maryland? Is that the distinction? They're kind of far apart, so you probably didn't just sort of win Maryland and say, oh, let's go to New Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. Correct.
Our daughters were involved in 4-H, and our youngest in particular, and actually we did move too, but she actually stopped her 4-H involvement when we moved from the Douglas County area up to Larimer County, but she would have participated in a different 4-H establishment. By the way, a message there, we've had several speakers talk about this, but 4-H is an amazing program. Highly recommend that if you have any potential of 4-H in your area that you should think about it. I haven't heard a story from anyone that I've interviewed or talked to yet that doesn't have a life experience that has passed forward in their life related that wasn't somehow related to their 4-H experience. So you gained that an interest there, but how about on the